What's up? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking swear words. Now this is a patron dedicated video. This video goes out to Doug, otherwise known as my dad. He writes in the sci-fi genre. Apparently writing is in the genetics. If you'd like a video dedicated to you, you can become a patron at any time. Patreon.com/CloudKittenChronicles. If you become a patron, you get to call yourself a kitten, part of the Kitten Coalition. What's cooler than that? You get to request videos in the monthly suggestion box, which then get dedicated to you. Plus there's other cool rewards and tiers, and check it out. So now, a disclaimer. Do I really need to put a disclaimer on this video? Yes, I do, apparently. So here it is. This video is about swear words. So naturally, for educational purposes, I'm going to have to use some unmeowed swear words. But guess what? Educational or not, this video is never gonna be monetized by YouTube. So I'm gonna be taking advantage of that and swearing heavily in this video to get it out of my system. Now I will not be touching slurs. That's where I draw the line, so you don't have to worry about that. But you can expect some of your more common day-to-day curse words. So if you're a small child watching this, I'm about to teach you some really cool words. If you're an adult with a small child in the room, I guess you could ask them to leave. Otherwise, I think you can handle this, but you have been warned. So I'm gonna go over a list of things to consider when it comes to making up swear words for your fantasy world or your sci-fi world. Because it turns out this topic is pretty complex. Sorry, shit, let me correct that. This topic is pretty fucking complex. There we go, that's better. This is gonna be so goddamn fun. I am excited. Okay, so let's get right into it. Thing to consider number 1, etymology. That word means the origin of words. And if the etymology of the swear word you want to use doesn't apply to your fictitious world, you're shit out of luck and you need to make some shit up. This applies mostly to historical fantasy because you really don't want to use a word centuries before that word came into being. Most readers won't notice, but some of them will, and those will be the people who feel like they need to leave a review, informing all of the other people of that thing that no one else would have noticed otherwise, because reviewers like to do that. I've done that before myself when it comes to biology. It's just a fun thing to do, so be prepared for those readers. Second thing to consider, types of swear words. So we have 3 general types of swear words we use. The first one is taboo words. So these are things based on stuff we view as taboo culturally. Generally, these involve things like genitals, sex, bodily fluids. Some fun examples of this are shit, fuck, crap, and fuck. Wait, I said fuck twice. Shit, crap, fuck, shit, crap. There's a 4th one. What was the 4th one? Shit, cock, fuck, and crap. Then we also have ones that used to be taboo and have sort of made their way off of the list, and most people don't really consider them swear words anymore. Things like ass, tits, and dick. The second type of swear words are slurs. Now, slurs are a very different category because slurs are built with the purpose of harming people, specifically people of certain groups such as sexualities, races, disability groups. These words are generally built on differences and stereotypes and are generally used by racists, sexist, ableist. And our third type of swear word is a blasphemy or religious. And that's pretty self-explanatory. That's any swear word that ties into deities or religion. And generally these are taboo purely because they tie into deities and religion. So this is things like God damn it, damn, hell, Christ, Jesus. Now, given your specific world, you're going to need to handle each of these types of swear words differently. For example, a fantasy world that worships something like hamsters. Okay, pause. I'm not endorsing the use of hamster worship in your writing. That's probably a bad idea. Plus, hamsters are actually fur-covered demons from hell and probably wouldn't make very good deities unless, you're basing it on Greek mythology, because those gods were all kind of assholes. So, anyways, I digress. We're gonna stick with that example, hamster deities. So your hamster worshipping wizards would not say things like God damn it. They would say things like hamster damn it or fluffle nugget. Fluffle nugget. Just in case you're wondering, I do endorse the use of fluffle nugget as a swear word. It's pretty fucking awesome. I mean, just in case you were wondering. But if your wizard speaks standard English, words in the taboo category can be left largely the same. Because if they call female dogs bitches, odds are that would be a swear to them. Unless they worship female dogs, in which case, that wouldn't be the same type of swear to them. Dog worshipping is better than hamster worshipping, again, just in case you were curious. Now, on the other hand, when it comes to slurs, slurs are going to depend entirely on what specific groups of people your witches and wizards are horrible to. But honestly, unless it's relevant to the plot, you should just stay away from slurs. Thing number 3 to consider. When it comes to the question of whether fake swear words are cool or lame, a lot of the source for the differentiation between them comes down to the reason for the change. If it's really obvious that the author made the change because they wanted to have curse words in their book, but they were scared to use actual curse words, then generally the curses are going to be interpreted as lame. Whereas, if it's clear that the made-up curse words were to contribute to world building or because of a difference in deities, then the words will have more credibility. Thing number 4 to consider. Recognizable taboo words are a literary tool. So you should think about that before you decide to switch out all of the taboo words for made-up ones. Consider this. You have a character. They're running for their life. They're fleeing from a demon hamster. And they trip on the edge of a cliff and they fall, and the scroll that they need to save the world falls off the cliff, lost forever until he finds it later, because of course he'll find it later. If in that moment your character shouts, "Waffle nugget," it's not going to add to the tension of the scene. It might be funny as fuck, but unless that's what you're going for, that's not what you want. On the other hand, using the word shit in that scenario could heighten the reader's tension and actually make them more immersed in the scene. Plus, the occasional use of recognized taboo swear words will show the reader that any creative swear words you did happen to include in the book weren't put there because you were afraid to swear in the book, but rather for creative purposes, which will again lend them more credibility and readers will enjoy them more. Thing number 5 to consider. How different the world is. Generally, readers will be more forgiving of made-up curse words the more different your world is from reality. If your book is a sci-fi book set 40 years in the future and all of your swear words are switched out for jargon, people aren't going to really buy that. Whereas if your book is 300 years in the future, that's a different story. Always consider how many generations have passed since the swear words were used. Thing number 6 to consider. Moderation is essential. Anytime people read a word that's unfamiliar to them, it breaks their immersion. And eventually they'll get used to the word and that won't happen anymore. But you do have to account for the adjustment period. So ration the use of your fake curse words. If your character uses a fake curse word every other line of dialogue, your readers will throw the book out a window. Maze Runner. I'm sure most of you guys have read Maze Runner. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Shade, it's okay. Was that necessary? Yes, it was. So if you can swing it, the best of both worlds is to try to lean towards more recognized and traditional taboo swear words, especially the ones on the lower end of the spectrum that aren't really considered swears by a lot of people. Things like crap, unless you have an extreme sci-fi book set way in the future or on an alien planet where you will have to change more of the words. Ration your made up ones by using some recognizable ones. Because at least from my experience in fantasy and sci-fi, the vast majority of them have very different deities or no deities at all. So a lot of your allotted swear words are probably gonna go towards the blasphemy side of things. But also important, don't ever use a made up swear word less than 3 times. Because if it's used less than 3 times, your reader will feel like it wasn't worth their effort to read the word and learn what the word meant because it wasn't really relevant enough to matter. Thing number 7 to consider. The sound structure. Swear words, in terms of the taboo ones and the slurs mainly, aren't just any word, they're harsh words. If the word fuck had never come about and instead we'd ended up with the word amilla in its place with the exact same meaning, the exact same connotation, it wouldn't have become a widespread swear word. Why? If you shout amilla, it doesn't really have the same impact as shouting fuck, right? I'm having way too much fun with this video, seriously. This is too much power for me. If you look up swear words, you'll find that most of them end in hard sounds like CK or T or R. Some examples of this are fuck, prick, shit, cunt, crap, fucker, twat, dick, cock, slut, bugger. And a personal favorite of mine, which I don't ever get to use because I can't say it without trying to do a British accent, which it turns out I cannot do a British accent, and that is wanker. Wanker? 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 Wanker. See, in my mind, it comes out in a British accent, and it sounds awesome. And then I try to say it out loud, and it does not come out in a British accent. It comes out in whatever the fuck that was that I just did. So if you're gonna create unique swear words, make sure you use a swear word that ends in a hard ending. And keep in mind that taking a well-known swear word like fuck and changing 2 letters to turn it into frack is generally viewed as lazy and is less well received by readers. Thing to consider number 7.5. Why? Because I wanted there to be 9 items on this list instead of 10, and I didn't want to cut any, and it's kind of related to 7. And don't you fucking judge me? So 7.5 is word length. For a serious swear word, you should aim for 4 to 7 letters. Why? Because if you accidentally zip your dick into your jeans, you're gonna want a swear word that can be gasped out in one quick breath and isn't hard to remember. I mean, not that I'm speaking from experience. You're welcome for those images, by the way, guys. There's not many of you out there, but yeah, you're welcome. On the other hand, less urgent situations can use longer swear words with more character. So an example of this is Merlin's beard in Harry Potter. No one explodes a butt cheek by irresponsibly keeping their wand in their back pocket and then shouts, "Merlin's beard!" It's too long, it's too playful. They'd shout something like, "Wanker!" Yeah, wanker doesn't actually work there. I just wanted to use the word, goddammit. J.K. Rowling was a big fan of bloody hell, so that's more likely, but that's a long one. B-L-O-O-D-Y. Hell. Yeah, that's too long. Realistically, I think they would shout fuck, but HarperCollins probably wouldn't allow them to shout fuck. So, thing number 8 to consider. The word needs a strong root. In the Victorian era, sex became so taboo that the word leg became indecent. Your world building decides your swears, even the taboo ones. If your book happens in a world that's largely sex positive, then the words fuck and tits and dick and cock won't really be viewed as that taboo and won't function well as swear words. In the US, sex positivity is on the rise, and because of that, I feel comfortable being on this video saying fuck and tits and dick. Alternately, as the US has changed over time, slurs have become more taboo, which is fucking awesome. And last but not least, thing number 9 to consider. Intuitive meaning. If someone quotes a line from your book, given the context of the line itself, people should be able to understand that it's a swear and maybe even guess a little bit of its meaning. And for a reader going through a book, they should know exactly what the swear word means without being fed otherwise irrelevant history or backstory. An example of this done well is the 100. The 100 uses the swear word go float yourself, which on one level works because it so closely matches go fuck yourself, they can kind of assume it has the same basic meaning, but the phrase also has added depth. Because we know from other relevant pieces of information that on the Ark, which is the spaceship, people got executed by being floated, which meant being ejected into space. So the word has both a harsh meaning, but also the context to understand it was already provided as an otherwise meaningful part of the story. So that was it for the things to consider. Now just a couple examples. I got some of this information from Twitter, so shout out and thank you to everyone who responded to my tweet asking for feedback on this. I got like 350 responses and all of them helped so much. I'm sorry I couldn't keep responding to all of them because they were just so many, but I appreciate each and every one of them. So some largely referenced good examples are Harry Potter. We have mudblood for being a good slur, and Merlin's beard was used in less tense situations. Then we have Darvit from Artemis Fowl, Saint from Shades of Magic, and one that I'm adding into the list is Jules from Unearthed swears in Latin, which I think is important because given the context of his character, it works and it actually adds to his character. Some ultimately bad examples. A Court of Thorns and Roses. They use the swear word, thank my cauldrons, or oh my cauldrons. And this is just bad on all levels. It ends in a soft sound. Cauldrons aren't a deity, and They aren't even really used that much in the book series, so they aren't a source of power or judgment. Now some mixed examples. Maze Runner. Some people really liked the words used in Maze Runner. We had things like shuck, clunk, shank. Now these were well created in that they had harsh endings, but these were mostly poorly received because it was very obvious that the author was including them to get away with swearing. The kids hadn't been in the Glade all that long, and to think that they would have created completely different swear words was kind of unbelievable. Another example that was very mixed feelings is Battlestar Galactica, specifically the word frack. It's too little of a variation from fuck, but tons of people praised it. And part of that could be nostalgia, but I also have another theory. People seem to be more forgiving when fake swear words are used in TV or in audio-based formats. My theory for this is, when you hear a swear word, the world keeps going. You don't have a lot of time to stop and think about it. But when you're reading and you hit an unfamiliar word, you stop in your tracks and you ponder the meaning of the word. And why did the author choose to include this word? And is this word dumb? So, in summary, I recommend whenever you can, generally your characters should use more recognized English taboo words if they speak English and share the same taboos, but blasphemous words should almost definitely be changed unless they happen to have the exact same religion as we have. Slurs should be largely avoided unless it's relevant to the plot. Make sure your swear word has a harsh sound to it if you want to use it in a serious situation, and only use the longer, more playful ones in more comedic situations. And as always, remember, readers are vastly different. Some readers will always hate made-up swear words, and some readers will pretty much always love them, whether they love to laugh at them or just love them and think that they fit the situation. And that was it for this video. Again, if you guys want a video dedicated to you, you can go to our Patreon. There's a suggestion box that goes live every month. If I choose your video, it's dedicated to you. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumb up and a share. Subscribe if you aren't already. If you like books that use taboo swear words like fuck and shit and damn isn't really a taboo swear word. But if you like books that swear, Aletheia is a new adult dystopian book, and it is available in hardcover, paperback, and ebook. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video.